According to, I think it was Bloomberg.
Mhm.
I think it was Bloomberg. I have this great idea.
Okay.
Probably the first person to think of this in the last 24 hours, for sure. Nobody else has considered this. This is why I'm a genius. OpenAI considered making a browser.
Huh.
Google's right there.
Really? I didn't know that.
They could buy Chrome, just end it all.
There's a
Imagine
case
how
to
that
be
would go.
made now that the Copilot app is available for Windows for everybody, and now that you can redirect the Copilot key to run any app, and now that Copilot has turned into this weird assistant with like colors and how's your day going, Paul? That maybe just use ChatGPT instead. It seems like it's a little more productivity focused.
Can you imagine how much of Google's world? Let's pretend like tomorrow, Chrome goes a different direction. Like they come in and say this is happening and whatever. It's all worked out. Chrome is going its own direction. If ChatGPT actually did buy it and just changed the default experience from Google typing in there to their own, Google would die overnight.
Okay, so without getting too dramatic here, first of all, OpenAI has to use something for search results. Like,
they use Bing. I mean, everybody would be angry, but Google would die. Like they would be.
Well, but hold on a second. So here's the thing. So the thing that's unique about Google Chrome and search as the default search engine is that it has refuted that power of the defaults on the other platforms that are popular, Windows and iOS/iPadOS, whatever. Chrome is the most common browser, right? And Google Search is the most common search engine. So this tells me that if OpenAI bought Chrome and changed it, most users would probably change it right back to Google Search. Now, that precludes changes. I mean,
maybe. I mean, eventually, yeah.
Like for example, like people will say, "Oh my God, if the DOJ gets what it wants," which is not necessarily what the DOJ wants, by the way. Whatever. Google's dead. Like there's nothing left, and it's like, well, hold on a second. Like let's look at the numbers here, right? Advertising revenues at Google are over $30 to $33 billion in the most recent quarter alone. Their advertising related revenues were 66 billion, we'll call it. No, by the way, none of the proposed remedies are Google gives up their ad business. Right. So it will be a more competitive market, but they're going to still get some of it. Let's say they get half of it. Half? Does that sound reasonable? I mean, it's probably going to be more, but let's call it half.
I don't know.
Half of that, $33 billion in one quarter plus $33 billion is $66 billion
dead
in one
quarter. They can't survive on that.
It's going to be okay. And by the way, look, I know there's going to be collateral damage. Mozilla is the most often cited example, but what we'll be left with is a more competitive market with lower ad prices, more ad choices, and I guess, I don't know, potentially more viable alternative search engines who, for the next 10 years, if they get everything they want, will be able to use Google's search index results, data, etc. So we're leveling the playing field here. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't any negative outcomes, but my God, like everyone's such a Chicken Little over this. It's like we got to remember this company abused their customers, their partners, their competitors. They broke the law. It's an illegal monopoly. Like we got to do something to remedy that. So I'm not saying it's going to be all unicorns and flowers or whatever, but rainbows, whatever the term is.
I got to ruin my Friday with facts and.
No, but it's
you ruined it. I'm just kidding.
No, it's a big deal.
It is. It's a very big deal.
It's historic. Now that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but even if some portion of this happens, if Google is forced to either change their behavior in some ways or divest themselves of parts of their business like Chrome, it's a big deal. I mean, this is big, but this is also overdue. Like my big complaint about antitrust is what took so long? They've been doing this forever. And it's not just them, right? Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, I guess Facebook will throw in there too. These are all horrible companies doing horrible things. So, you know, it I mean, it should happen a long time ago. That's the big thing to me. Like, what took so long?
Yeah, that's wheels of justice for you, right? Never swift.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's
So
true.
Apple's apparently saying, oh, this AI thing is actually a thing. And so they're going to try to make Siri better with their own stuff, according to Bloomberg again. But like that's...
I think it might, I don't know if it was Jason Snell or somebody at Macworld kind of made the case. Maybe it was just the Maclope, that idiot. But whoever did it said something to the tune of, it looks like this AI thing is kind of peaking, right? Or potentially is peaking. And that, you know, OpenAI and I think Anthropic maybe have said, we're not seeing what we expected to see from these next gen models. Like the explosive growth has really slowed. So it's becoming, I hate to even say this, mature in its own little way. But this is like the Benjamin Button thing in reverse. I mean, it's like this, you know, the life cycle of this thing is just explosive. So everything happens quickly. But, you know, maybe that Apple would benefit from that, right? That they kind of slowly embrace this. And now that it's kind of, you know, I don't know, plateauing, we'll call it, you know, maybe they're in a good place for that reason. You know, it's like, yeah, maybe. I'll tell you, dude, I'm running 18.2 on my phone, and I was trying to text with my daughter last night, and this freaking thing kept getting in the way. And it's the Siri thing, I think. It's like this rainbow colored stupidity. I couldn't make it come up now if I had to. I don't even know what made it appear.
I think a doctor can help with that, but
yeah, but I saw it on the iPad this morning too. And again, I'm not really sure why, but it's like, it's just a text box and it has, but it's all rainbow colored all around it. And it prevented me. I was like, is this thing trying to help me write or something? Like, what's it doing? So I typed into it, didn't do it. So I hit enter and it just disappeared. And then I had the thing I was trying to type to my daughter was just gone. And I'm like, what is this thing? So that's Apple AI, right? I would say. So it's going great.
Well,
it can only get better, man.
It's not. It's a disservice to refer to it as this. It's not Moore's law, but there's a. I can see the graph in my head because we were looking at it, yeah. But it's a line that shows you like the growth and functionality of the size of the model for the large language stuff, and there's a very definitive like when you it doesn't scale linearly. The larger the model doesn't mean more capability. It's like finite details. The larger the model gets right. And so, like, people are waiting for something to break through that side.
Yep. There's a term. What do you call it? The payoff gets smaller. I guess there's a better term for this, but yeah. And this is what has actually held up AI for a long time. I mean, there's a guy who I think he worked in DeepMind who kind of came out recently and said, honestly, we just zagged when we should have zagged. We should have seen the things we're seeing now 5 years ago. Like this should have already happened. And we just made a mistake somewhere along the line, you know.
Yes, what I'm trying to say, the rainforest to productivity chart is not scaling as well as they had hoped.
Yeah, well, you know, it's okay. They have Xbox Game Pass, so it's good.